Here's a good Patreon AMA that I guarantee is tailor-made for Kyle. What is the most vile video or image you guys have ever stumbled upon on the internet?
Interesting.
The most vile video or image.
So there's this one where the person's eyes are infected with like maggots or something like that, and they're like living in its eye, and you can see all of them in the eye. That one's pretty fucking awful. I can't look at that one. Whenever I see it on like Reddit, I'm like, fucking just get off the internet for a while. There's one where there's something. I don't remember exactly what it is, but because I always click off of it so quickly. But the guy's got something up wrong with his dick. It looks like his dick is being eaten by something, some sort of infection or some sort of disease or some sort of parasites are in his dick. There's one where, of course, there's lots of them where homeless people are found to have been wearing the same pair of shoes continuously for 3 years or something. And when they take the shoe off, their foot is dead and infested with maggots. The maggots are eating their flesh. And then there's another where maggots are utilized as a medical treatment in these people who have, maybe it's frostbite or something like that. So in a case of the frostbite, it's not like there's a right angle cut of flesh that has been killed by the frostbite. It's
like a giant chunk or a whole appendage or something.
Yeah, it's three-dimensional within the foot or the toe or whatever. So what they'll do sometimes is use maggots. They'll introduce maggots to the wound and then wrap it up, and then they'll wait for a day or 2 days, and then they'll go back, and the maggots will only eat the dead flesh, and they'll leave behind this perfect pink flesh that is alive. And by using those maggots in that way, you don't cut away anything that the person could keep. You know what I mean? So those are probably some of the grossest things. I think anything where there are parasites in your body eating you, or where you are rotting alive, and anything with the eyes. I don't like anything with the eyes.
Oh, like the botfly stuff?
Yes, the botfly stuff. Like that's what it looks like the guy has in his eyes are human botfly larvae.
If God were real, he wouldn't have made botflies.
That's true.
It put me up in a debate against the most, religious scholar on the planet. Perhaps that's Woody's parents. Who's to say? But I'll just pull up on YouTube the video of the guy getting multiple botflies, the kid having them like pulled out of his ear and like over his eye and all that, and be like, what has your God done? Like, what did this kid do to piss off, this wasn't even like a holy prophet. Like Elisha came out and said, to all the kids who called him bald and summoned bears to have them murdered. That's reasonable. We can all agree. But the botflies, like that, no loving God would make botflies.
Botflies are horrible. I learned about botflies watching this thing on the Discovery Channel once about this. I want to say it was a lady who, I think her plane crashed in the jungle, maybe the Amazon, I don't know. But she was left alone in an enormous swath of land, like tens of thousands of acres, with no knowledge of which even direction to go. And so she just starts walking out of the fucking jungle. She survived the plane crash, and maybe the sole survivor. And along the way, the botflies were laying their larvae in her. And she recounted, because she made it out alive, she took a key ring. And you know how, you can, unfurl a key ring, and it's like wire spooled around, and, you separate it and slide a key on? She used that to hook them out of her flesh and pull these maggots out of her. And I was just thinking, Jesus Christ, that would be so awful. I remember thinking that was one of the worst things that could happen to you. Getting
anything that's under your skin that you have to pull out is like horror movie level gross.
It's bad, it's gross, but those aren't the images and videos that get me. It's usually something to do with death. Like, there's two that are burning in my head. One we've talked about before. In Russia, they were killing a guy with hammers and screwdrivers and stuff. It was a real slow death, maybe a 17-minute video. And the whole time, as they ratchet up the violence, you're thinking about, can that guy recover from here? All right, he's got a couple pokes in his chest, but you know what? Sew that back up. We'll be all right. All right. Now Now they've damaged an eye. There's no coming back from it. But okay, he's got to sport a pirate look for a little bit, and then they break his skull, and it just progressively it gets more and more unrecoverable, and that's awful. There's another still image, because he asked about images. There's a guy who jumped his BMX bike over the Great Wall of China.
Oh.
So he had like a half pipe, and they picture him in midair, and I think things are still okay in the picture, at least to my untrained eye, but I know that he died. I know that when he landed, he didn't hit it right, and he dies. So here he is in midair, pre-death. Maybe he doesn't know it, but I do. And something about that, like, final image, this is the last picture of him moments before he dies, was impactful to me. Those are the kinds of things that get me more than, like, pimples and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like, that kind of applies to a ton of historical photographs where you'll see, like, oh, 8 Poles lined up before they're murdered and fall in the death pit or whatever the hell in World War II. Like, and watching that, it's like, man, that's almost even worse, because you're looking at people who are being documented. They see the camera taking the photo of them, and they know, like, this is for some history book at some point. Like, this is I'm done. This is it. The end. Like, no chance. I just watched them kill 500 other people. There's no way they're gonna change their mind right now for me.
That thing about so I watched an ISIS video, and they were executing people. They were shooting them in the head, bam, 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 bam. And like you said, like, I've just watched 37 people get shot in a row. Here's number 38. He knows how this ends. Like even basic pattern recognition skills, see how this goes. And it's something about that. And then if you think about it, like, when one person dies, obviously that person dies. But now you have a family that's missing that person. And the impact is really great. You know, like, how many people are impacted by the death of a man. I don't know. That's impactful to me, because you watch 40 people die, 400 care, and it's a lot. Yeah, it's dark.
That's a good one. On a slightly lighter but still gross note, I will still never forget when Kyle showed me in the lobby of the Marriott Hotel, with people walking in and out, that video of that dude laying back in the bathtub wearing goggles, like swim goggles, and then opening his mouth and having someone, a nice lady, shit directly into it. I didn't care for it.
He loved it.
2 thumbs down.
He was aggressively chomping that shit like it was fucking
That's what made
soft
it so fucked.
serve ice cream. It would be like imagine you haven't eaten in a day and a half, and you've barely had any water. You're parched. Your mouth is so dry that your tongue is swollen, and your throat is dry now to the part where you can feel it sticking to itself.
Never seen a man drink horse piss that fast.
And someone, and they tell you have 15 seconds under that soft serve ice cream machine. Vanilla, chocolate, or swirl, it's up to you. Go. That is how aggressively he is chomping at this lady shat more than I have ever shat in my life, and that is saying something, because I have a poor diet.
The perfect job for her. I mean, we all have our calling.
She must have been saving that load up for days and eating poorly.
Olive oil.
Okay, it was awful. He's got
this
goggles.
This wasn't a healthy shit either. This was not a fiber eater who's eating a lot of vegetables, a lot of greens. This was sewage. It was rancid. And the way the guy was clearly just eagerly gulping it down, like the way I would be with Cheez-Its, where, like, I don't even chew the first before the second, third, and fourth go into my mouth. Like, he was, like, eagerly gnawing on that shit. He wished it was more consistent, like there were more consistency to it, so we can get a few more chews in before it slid down his throat like tapioca pudding.
And he won't be so lucky next time. It'll be
Hey, thank you for
adios.
the scam train, boys.
Sorry, nar. Down at the mall, gentlemen. Can we please?
Saranara.
We got a lot to prove. And he won't be so lucky next time. It'll be adios. Sorry, nar. Challenge tomorrow, gentlemen. Can we please win it?
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.